Welcome back, everyone. We're so happy you're here. It's Iris and Milady again. And today, thanks to one of our wonderful people that commented on our video, we wanted to talk about the duality and feelings in general. Iris, I know you and I were talking a little bit before we started, and I think this is a topic that has a lot to it, and I think it's a topic that we're gonna revisit soon because there's so much to it, right? Like there's just too much. But to start off, the duality of feelings and different feelings, and one of the things that caught me by surprise, not caught me by surprise, but I think it's really important to know is that there's a lot of feelings out there. I think in Brene Brown's book, she has like 87 feelings in one of her books that she mentions. And most people can name 5 feelings.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And I think since we're little, we're not given the language of feelings. And so one of the comments that we got was, how can I feel happy and sad at the same time? In one of our last videos. And I wanted to answer that one by explaining the difference between happiness and joy. And happiness it's in the moment, right? I'm happy. I just got a good news. Or today I was really happy because I got to work from home today. And so I was happy to have to drive to the office, right? That's happiness. Joy is a longer lasting emotion. It's kind of more ongoing. So you can be sad and still feel joyful. Joy comes with a sense of content, satisfaction with life overall. So even if bad things are happening, because bad things will happen, I mean, it's life. Joy is just that feeling of, okay, it's happening, we're gonna get through it and we're gonna keep going. And that's that joy or joyful, while happiness could be more in the moment. And that's, kind of answering from our commenter in our last video. I wanted to make sure I threw that out there. But there's so much with emotions and the duality of emotions, right?
Yeah, too much. Like in my case, I personally have a way of defining emotions. And I call them our personal GPS. How would you know what you want or don't want unless you feel like your emotions are always guiding you to what you want or what you don't want? Like fear guides us to avoid danger or avoid a punishment or avoid not passing a test. Because if you become fearful of not passing a test, you're going to dedicate time to study it, right? To study, to get ready, to do the things that we must do to get what we want. So fear, which is an amazing feeling to feel, but we avoid it. Why do we avoid fear? Yeah, why do we avoid it?
I mean, the answer to that to me is, why do we avoid feelings in general? Because we're taught from when we're little. It's funny, I have this story. I made up this story back when I was seeing little clients. And the story is, think of each feeling as a person, right? Yeah. So it's a world of feelings, right? And so there's the houses, right? So you have a sadness house, right? Where sadness is understood in that house. And then there's the anger house, where anger is understood in that house. And then there's the happy house, where happiness is understood in that house. And so what happens is, and then in my story, there's one person that kind of feels all the emotions, because in their house, every emotion is accepted. And so one of them sees like there's somebody runs through a red light and runs over, a little puppy. Oh, my people out there may be like, oh, don't kill the puppy. All right, a bird. All animals to me are important, but then, something major happens, right?
Oh, I hope all animals are protected.
Exactly, all animals are protected. But they run over something. And so the person that kind of feels all the feelings goes to the house of the sadness house. And the person's like, oh, let's get the driver's license, of the car. And the other person goes, no, this is just so sad, right? And because they're trying to avoid the one feeling, feel the other one, and they get to the house and the person's like, we need to call 911. And everybody in the house is like, this is a sadness house. You're too angry. Chillax, right? Because we're sad and we're in this house of sadness, and this is horrible. And then if that same thing happened with the anger house, then they get to the anger house, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this is unfair. And then if anybody shows a little bit of sadness for the animal that has passed, it's like, why are you crying? Ew, not crying here, right? And to me, the scariest house is the happy house. Because in the happy house, we have to be happy and we cannot feel any emotions that are negative. And there's no negative emotions in my mind, Iris. I don't know how you feel about that. But to me, there's no negative emotions. But in the happy house, all the other emotions are negative, right? And you're too happy, you're too sad, or you're too angry, and that's an issue. So I think it's so important to feel the emotions, fear, like you were saying.
Emotions are amazing. See, the thing is that we confuse. I might be using the word happiness in the wrong context, because you're using joy as the truth of
baseline. Think of
baseline, the truth of ourself, I call the truth of our soul, our spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? And happiness, in the context that you are explaining it, which is beautiful, is depends on what happens outside, depends on the situation.
Yeah.
So I like happiness in the context that I think about it, reference to the joy, is a choice, not a feeling. Feelings are guidance, but happiness is a choice that no matter what happens outside, you will have you got yourself. You no matter, you accept the moment. Doesn't mean you have to be okay with the moment. You're just accepting what it is, accepting the good, the bad, and the ugly, but knowing that your worth, who you are, is not attached to that thing that happened, or that situation.
Yes. And I think that's that concept of being joyful, right? Like just having that baseline, knowing that things can happen, accepting them. And, goes back to the last topic we were talking about with radical acceptance, right? Of accepting those things, but accepting them and then saying, I'm going to go through that feeling. Let it be sadness, let it be anger, let it be fear, right? For whatever's happening in the moment, but I'm okay. And that's that joy.
I am so sorry for the dogs barking.
Oh, you're fine. I can't hear.
You cannot hear it?
I can't hear him.
Okay, thank God.
I'm hearing issue, baby.
He is barking like he's dying. Like he's
he
dying.
wants to say something. He feels this. He feels connected.
He
to
feels
this
the emotions. He's feeling
the emotions.
But
don't lower his emotions.
Yeah, but I do want to address the feeling sad and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
Feeling sad and happy at the same time, because it is possible to feel sad and happy at the same time. Like, for instance, what example that is not offensive or that will not trigger someone's emotional wound here? Let's say a relationship. Let's say a relationship. You know the relationship is not where you want to be. You know you deserve more. You know that the relationship got to the end of it and it's time to move on. It is very sad to make that decision, but at the same time, you know it's a good thing, because happiness is not an emotion. It's a decision that is in alignment with who you are and who you are becoming. So it feels sad to say goodbye to someone that you have been sharing your life for so long, or maybe for too many, who knows? But at the same time, it's a good goodbye. It's healthy. It's right.
Yeah, I call it the grieving, right? The grieving process. And there's nothing wrong with grieving. And sometimes grieving can definitely, like we were talking, it can be overlining with that joy, right? With that, and even with that happiness of grieving that past relationship, grieving the fact that this is done, but knowing that I'm heading somewhere good.
Exactly.
So you grieve the fact that, wow, this is done and I'm going to miss this aspects of this person or this aspects, because there's always there's horrible relationships out there, but there's a little bit of good, at least a little bit, and that we're going to miss.
They
And
always
that's
have
what we
something
grieve.
good.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we're going to grieve that piece, right? And that grieving period. But then we can also feel happy because, hey, my life is going to turn around. I'm going to be rid of this, whatever was happening in that relationship, right?
Exactly.
It could be, you know, it could be a relationship. It could be a job, leaving a job, starting a new job.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, definitely. Right? Where you grieve aspects of it, but then you also say, wow, but this is the good stuff that's coming. And you can feel those two feelings because we're not one-dimensional. We're not one-dimensional beings, and we don't live in a one-dimensional emotion world. Our emotions are all there.
Always.
Always. And one thing, and I will be very sad if I don't mention this before we finish, but remembering not to numb emotions. You cannot selectively numb. You cannot numb sadness without numbing all the other emotions. You cannot numb happiness without numbing the other emotions. So numbing is and numbing is something that people try to do when they put stuff in a box and they don't see it. And that what it does is it messes up all the other emotions. So feel through your feelings. I think that's a good thing that I definitely want to make sure we get out of when we talk today.
Yeah, don't run away from your feelings. You can't. It doesn't matter where you go, you will always take yourself with you.
Yes.
And those feelings are that self within you. So don't run away from the feelings. Stop running away.
Definitely.
But I know we gotta go. We only had 2 minutes, but I think it's important that we discuss why we run from our feelings. And it goes back to when we were children, we were told that feeling sad was bad, that feeling angry was bad, that feeling frustrated was bad. So we disconnected from feeling because feeling sad was bad. So now sadness comes out when we need it and we try to avoid it.
Yes.
Angry comes out and we try to avoid it, or we become impulsive because now we don't know what to do with it.
Yes.
We explode when we don't need to.
Definitely. Oh, I love it. I love it, Iris.
I love it. I love it, my lady.
If you like what we're talking about, please, please, please drop a comment. Talk to us through the chat. Like, subscribe. Buttons are gonna start popping up to the side so that you like and subscribe us. And I am so thankful that you took your time today to talk and to listen to us talk and rumble on this wonderful subject. Please let us know what you think. Throw it on the comments.
If you hear the dogs in the background, they are part of us. It's life.
They're part of us.
And like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. Love you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.